Hello, honor students. Yep, that's me. I'm going to be doing a couple of problems, 6 problems to be exact, from your homework. So question number 3, when I'm solving this. When I'm looking at this, I want to get rid of this division here on both sides, because I don't really like solving problems with division. So I'm going to multiply by what I'm dividing by. So I'm going to have this negative 4 over here. I'm going to multiply this side by the 3x plus 1. And I'm going to multiply over the x plus 1. So I'm moving basically this division up here and this division up here. So now I can multiply that in, so negative 12x minus 4, 5x plus 5. I'm going to add over the 12, I'm going to subtract over that 5, and then I can divide, and I would get negative 9 over 17 is equal to x, and that would be my final answer for that one. This problem is a little bit more hard because before I can actually multiply anything over, I have to make sure that I have a fraction equal fraction, and right now I do not have that. So before I do anything, I'm going to factor this so I can figure out my least common multiple. That's a plus sign, and this becomes x plus 1, x minus 1. So first I have to figure out what my common denominator is. My common denominator would be 2, x plus 1, x minus 1. So I have to make sure to change that first by the left side of the equation so that we have the same common denominator so we can combine them over. This is going to say the same over here. So on my first fraction, I would have to make sure to add this x minus 1. So I have to multiply it by x minus 1 over x minus 1. So 1 times this would give me just x minus 1. My second fraction, I'm missing my 2 here, so I have to multiply by 2 over 2. So on top, I would just have 10. Now I'm adding here, so on the left-hand side, I have x, and then negative 1 plus 10, because those are my like terms, would give me plus 9. And on bottom, I have my 2, x plus 1, x minus 1 is equal to 1 over x minus 1. Now I have my fraction equal fraction. I'm going to multiply just this side over here. So I have my x plus 9. I'm multiplying the other one over. If I multiply this over, look at here. This is like over 1, because it would be all multiplying, so it's like one big old fraction. This x minus 1 will cancel with this x minus 1. So what I really have left is this 1 times this will just be the same thing. So this would be, now I'm going to distribute this 2 back in. So this would be 2x plus 2. Subtract my x, subtract my 2. I get 7 is equal to x for question number 10. Question number 11 is a lot like 10, except for that second fraction can be a little bit tricky. It's a little tricky. So again, first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to factor out this negative. So I have x minus 3 here. And one thing, and if you looked on your answer key, maybe you didn't understand, but I'm going to move this negative up top. Because if I had a negative 2/3, it does not matter where you put that negative. All of these fractions are the exact same. You can move a negative wherever you want to. It's kind of nice like that. So my common denominator will be x plus 3 and x minus 3. And when I look at this negative right here is going to move up top with that 5 right now. And I'm still going to have the x plus 3 and x minus 3. Again, this negative doesn't matter where you put it. So if I look at my first fraction, I have my x plus 3. I need to have my x minus 3. So I have to multiply it by x minus 3 over x minus 3. So on top, I'm going to distribute that right away. It will be 2x minus 6. For my second one, I'm missing my x plus 3. So I have to multiply by x plus 3 over x plus 3. I'm just going to leave that in parentheses. And it's still equal to this right here. So I can combine the left-hand side, and I have the x plus 3, x minus 3, and then I have my 2x minus 6, and then we distribute that negative 5, so that would be negative 5x minus 15. And over here I still have the 6 on top. I'm going to factor this bottom, plus 3, x minus 3, multiply to get negative 9, add together to get 0. And now I'm just going to get rid of this division, so I'm going to multiply by that over here. And something that's super nice about this problem is that there's an x plus 3 and x plus 3 on both top and bottom, x minus 3 and x minus 3. So what I'm really dealing with is I can combine these two like terms. So I have a negative 3x. I can combine these two like terms, negative 21 is equal to 6. So now I have a negative 3x, add over my 21, and then x divided by negative 3 is equal to negative 9er. So the problems that already have the fraction, equal fraction are probably the easier ones because you don't have to do much with adding, subtracting, getting your like denominators. So I'm just going to get rid of this division on both sides. And so I'm going to have 4 and then 2x minus 1, 10, and then x plus 3. So I'm multiplying this over. I'm multiplying this over. So cross multiplication essentially. So I have 8x minus 4 is equal to 10x plus 30. So I'm going to subtract my 8x, I get 2x. I'm going to subtract my 30, I get negative 34. Divide by 2 and get x is equal to negative 17. So here I have to find my common denominator first. So if I look at this, my common denominator is going to be 6. So my first fraction, I have to multiply by 2 over 2. So 2/3 is the same thing as 4/6. So this does not have to change. And I'm actually not going to change what it's equal to either. So over here, I have 6 on bottom. Remember, this would be like just one big fraction. I can combine those two. So I have 3x plus 3 is equal to 5 over 2. I'm going to get rid of this division. So I'm going to multiply. Opposite of dividing would be multiplying by 6. So I have 3x plus 3 is equal to, this becomes 30 over 2, which is equal to 15. Subtract my 3, divide by 3, and you get x is equal to 4. Score! It's 4. And last but not least, question 20. So again, what I personally would do first with subtraction, I would go plus and then make that a negative 2. Otherwise, a lot of people forget that subtraction is like a negative. So what's my common denominator here? Would be x times x plus 3. So I'm going to have that on both for both equations. So my first equation, I'm missing this. So I have to multiply by x plus 3 over x plus 3. So I just have the x plus 3 because 1 times x plus 3 is x plus 3. And my second equation, I'm missing my x here. So I have to multiply by x over x. So I have negative 2x. So if I combine those two together, I would have x minus 2x, because those are my like terms, so a negative x plus 3 over, I guess I don't really need that in parentheses, but I already wrote it, is equal to 0. I want to get rid of this division, so I'm going to multiply by x times x plus 3, and 0 multiplied by anything is just going to give me 0. So that denominator really didn't matter. So I'm going to subtract my 3, divide by negative 1, and x is equal to tree. Trio. And there you have it. Good luck on your quiz.